In this video, you are going to learn more about the third stage of working with TE Grammar tasks. The main objective of this stage is to get students to produce the description of each structure they're working on. This is done with the help of the bank students collected at stage 2. As well as in the video about stages 1 and 2, we use the task to help learners to become aware of the difference between sentences with did and have done when referring to the past. Before inviting students to describe the structures they are working on, it is necessary to remind them of the purpose of their work. Students start out by restating the learning objective they defined at the end of working at stage 2. It is essential that each learner defines the context for this choice, as it adds the communicative dimension to the process. In the following tasks, students are working with the bank they have collected. The learners should divide the sentences in the bank into 2 groups according to the structure used. After that, they work in pairs to look closely at the meaning of each sentence to be able to identify important characteristics of each structure. It is important that students can explain what they write by referring to the sentences in their banks. The role of the teacher here is not to correct or explain, but to get the students to analyze the meaning of the sentences and describe it. If some pairs don't get enough ideas, the teacher may form groups so that students can benefit from the ideas of each other. In task 3, students continue working on their descriptions and try to make them more organized by defining parameters according to which the structures can be described. For this, one of the characteristics of a structure has to be matched with the characteristics of another structure, and the reason for the match or a parameter is to be established. The teacher's feedback in this task highlights the way students define and match characteristics of the structure, not their correctness or correspondence to the rules. Even if the teacher believes that certain ideas are wrong, she should avoid telling this to students. The task for the teacher is to propose such questions and further tasks so that the students are able to identify the problems themselves. If students have managed to work independently, it is likely that by task 4 they have produced a number of different descriptions. Now it's important to check to what extent all of them are helpful in the context of the initial problem. Therefore, here the students divide their descriptions into more or less useful. It's not necessary that the whole class agree at this stage. It is important, however, that students understand the rationale behind the division into more or less helpful descriptions. Let's summarize what the students are doing at this stage. First of all, they are to be reminded of the purpose for their work that is to be defined in the context of a communicative task, in this case, how one can refer to the past in English. When the purpose is clear, students sort their banks and start describing the meaning of each structure. Here, all terminology is to be avoided to ensure that it's the meaning everyone is focused on. The next step is to make the description more systematic through defining the parameters according to which the structures in question can be described. The parameters are necessary to be able to define the rule to distinguish between the structures. This will happen at the next stage. Finally, students choose more helpful features of the structures they are describing. Such characteristics that help them to distinguish between the structures when making a choice.